Hello, and welcome back to Therapist Plays Fran Bow. All right, we are finally ready to perform our little ritual. The twins in the house in the well think that they've won over on us, which is ridiculous because as an aspiring witchy person, as Fran is, I'm having so much fun with the little puzzle that they gave me, okay? Like, I literally get to toil and trouble with black candles over an ashen pentagram. Like, this is brilliant. Honestly, kind of a major highlight in the adventure so far. The only thing left to do is to put my blood into the pot here. There goes my blood. I hope it tastes good. Tra-la-la. I should show the girls that the potion is ready. Yes, we should. I can basically taste my victory over them at this point. And really, this is just a secondary positive effect of the real goal, which is to get back Mr. Midnight. And all of this is a result of the skill that we've been discussing for Fran, Midnight Magic. Now, I have to say, I have been so delighted to read so many people talking about discovering their own competencies, like sharing like, oh, I actually do this thing that's really helpful for me. And it sounds kind of like what you're talking about. I just love seeing so many people get curious about discovering their own competencies. And sometimes you will just stumble upon them, or you'll start to realize that like, oh, there actually is something that I already possess here. Because we all have minor and major competencies that we just might not have discovered yet. Now, where this becomes really significant for the process of therapy and healing is not just discovering minor competencies that we might use on a day-to-day basis, but because we go through that process, we then work towards developing major competencies, which are more for processing and surviving trauma. Because I've seen some confusion about like, okay, like, is this just doing anything that's helpful? Like, in a sense, yes, but there's actually a very, very in-depth, complicated process of discovering a true SRR that it would be too technical to get into in the middle of a gameplay playthrough, but I can do a little brief discussion on using Fran and Midnight Magic as an example. But first, we have a ritual to perform. I don't want to spare a single moment longer without my kitten. I've waited long enough, folks. I've gone through so many hardships to find Mr. Midnight, and he's almost in our hands. Okay, you girls, it's time for you to take your potion. Check this out. Everything is ready. Let's go to the kitchen. Good. Let's go. Now, I don't know exactly what's going to happen once they take the potion. It says to destroy an impure soul or give freedom to those who are trapped. Worst case scenario, it destroys them. Best case scenario, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to find out. The thing is whatever happens, it's not more important than finding Mr. Midnight. Please sit down and close your eyes, lady. Oh, she is so diabolical. I don't know if that's really necessary for the ritual, like closing your eyes and all that. Okay. Use the potion on the twins. I actually hope that this helps them in some way. They weren't very nice to us, of course, but like Fran, they also deserved a better life than they got. Okay, let's use a potion. Oh my goodness. I guess I thought that they would drink it, but she's really just gonna pour it on top of them. Okay, there's no turning back now. And now I'll say the words. Bont ir ekran o ir begma o ibr nam ibr ir bont ir ekran begma hofma mandima gofmia ibr ek itus irnermi bomeg ibrem isne. Wait a second. That isn't the right spell. You tricked us. Oh no. Oh no! Oh shit. I guess I kind of feel like Fran here. I'm more shocked than anything else. It seemed like there was some great force of darkness that left them, and then the two girls' spirits separated, potentially were able to move on. So maybe it was a little bit of both. We destroyed an impure soul and gave freedom to those who were trapped. Okay. Well, we will have to process that. Like, what does Fran think about it? But at the same time, they did leave behind a shiny key, which I'm very curious about. I'm more curious about it than... Oh. What have I done? Oh my goodness, this isn't right. That actually is encouraging, to be honest. I thought that the shiny gold key in the pile of ashes of those two girls would be so powerfully enticing that Fran would almost forget to feel something about what she just did. Can I get the key, though? Yes. At least for a moment, it was terrifying. Yes, now we can free our kitty. A golden key. I wonder if this will open the cage. Does she have anything else to say about this? I never thought that that would kill them. I'm sorry, girls. But now I can get my kitty back. Well, like I said, you know, it's a couple of things we've had to do to get Mr. Midnight. Not every decision has had a clean result. Certainly not this one. But I do have a key to get my cat out now, which is kind of where my real focus lies. But yeah, I think Fran is smart enough to also see that, like, you know, despite the girls, well, trapping us here and threatening to make us hurt our own cat, she's also able to empathize with them. And, you know, what happened to them wasn't right. She also didn't put them in that situation either. Okay, let's get our cat. I'm sure that that will help us. And maybe Mr. Midnight will have some kind words of encouragement for us. Go on, Fran, please, get me out of this cage. Find the key. I have it. I finally have it. Oh my god, I've been waiting so long. What is it, Fran? Open the cage. I can't. The key doesn't fit. What? Did you see another keyhole somewhere? Oh yeah, there was another keyhole in the mirror. Yes, I saw one. I'll see if it fits there. I'll be waiting. Hurry up. I'm trying, Mr. Midnight. I can't wait to tell you what I've been through to get here. Okay, I'm so close to getting my cat back. I'm starting to feel anxious. Can I use the key on the mirror? Nothing. Oh, it's up there. Okay. The key was for this keyhole. And what's that? A puzzle. No, not a fucking puzzle. Ah, this is... Okay, I've seen these kinds of puzzles before. I guess I'm trying to connect this to there. So I gotta move these things around somehow. But how do I know which gears I'm supposed to move? Maybe... Oh, okay. So that one... I'm getting much better at these puzzles. Need to get those ones over there. Without messing up the rest somehow. Maybe I move this one up. Kind of work these around. Yes! Too fucking easy, this one. That was very unpleasant. Whoa. What is this? 2 skeletons. They look kind of small, like me. I can imagine who these 2 were. Then I'm not a killer. Interesting. I think there's been a couple implications beyond the girls talking about how they were cursed by Angel or whatever, that the girls were born separated. Like, we can see that in this picture, and perhaps they were forcibly conjoined, maybe even at the asylum. Let's see what's up here. Yeah, that looks very much like where we were. Sister promise. We, Clara and Mia Buolmed, promise to revenge the unfair destiny Itward decided for us. With blood and tears, we promise that we will kill him and bring our bodies back. We won't stand this any longer. Even though we are sisters, we hate each other, and we will always hate each other. Nothing will ever change that. But now, with our bodies attached to each other, we can't complete our task. The strongest will live forever, and the weakest will die. Itward. That's, we saw that in one of the chambers in the lower part of the asylum. Let me take a look at this. Who's Itward? These girls are very strange. I wonder why they hated each other so much. Mother must die. Ew. My mommy was very good. She hugged me many times. Maybe that mommy wasn't a good mommy at all. Gosh, there's so much going on. We've got some bows. That's a blue rosette. I like it very much. And a pink. Pretty hair decoration. A two-headed doll. It must be really old. It's also quite dirty. I guess because they played with it a lot. Maybe. My toys are also a bit dirty. I miss playing with my dollhouse. Some gems up here. Shiny stuff. It looks like a necklace. Got some pearls. Guess from a broken necklace. Another shiny key, which we'll just take that. Oh dear, this must be the key to the cage. Finally! And what do you know? Somebody left their duotine behind. Duotine? My pills are called duotine too. But they got the yellow ones. I wonder what the difference is. I wonder too. We know now that the variant of duotine that we have is something a little different than what everybody else is getting. Guess we're not curious enough to pocket that and give it a whirl. It's probably a good thing, to be honest. We don't need it. Not like we're running short on the stuff we've already got. Just seems to be an infinite amount of duotine for us to take, which is concerning. Okay, can I please get my fucking cat back now? After everything I've been through. I think this is the key. It worked, my dear kitty. It worked. Come out. Let me hug you. Please don't betray me, Mr. Midnight. I'm so terrified that, like, something bad is going to happen as a result of this. I haven't learned to trust that good things will happen to us. Oh. Oh, it's so wholesome. And a genuinely good moment for Fran. Tears of joy. Lapped up by sweet Mr. Midnight. Oh my gosh. Think of everything that we have been through to get to this point. Oh, I hope we get to stay with Mr. Midnight forever now. This feels so good. I'm free, Fran. My good friend. Time to go home. You're free, my dear. Now it's time to go home. Yes, let's go. Oh, Mr. Midnight. We need to get home, kitty. I hope the way back isn't far. I hope so too, Fran. We can do this together. I can help you. Oh my gosh, do we get to just be with Mr. Midnight now? Please? I'm so tired of doing this alone. It's just Fran. Oh my gosh, and he's so goddamn cute as well. Just bouncing around. Oh, he's really just gonna go everywhere with us. I love this. Oh, I'm so happy for Fran. She really, really deserves some relief from everything she's been through so far. And this moment is so important for Fran's healing journey because we now have a tangible healing result from everything that we've went through, which is that we found Mr. Midnight and we have achieved the first moment of safety that we've felt since we lived at home and before the tragedy. And Fran has accomplished that. And yes, not every decision we've made has always felt good or that we've been happy with the results, like the stuff that we did to the twins. And not every step in the process comes without consequences, like duotine here. But this is a moment where we can actually explore how a true SRR, a specific resistance resource, comes together and how it becomes more than just the cute name that we give to Fran's problem-solving process. How it becomes the basis for how Fran tackles bigger subjects, like her trauma, and how we can face those things. So Fran comes into therapy, and the first thing I want to understand is just a timeline, just the major events. And she says she lost her parents. And many things could end up on here, and we'd be a lot more thorough in the actual process, but I'll keep things kind of simple. We end up in the asylum, and it's very difficult there. But eventually, we find a way to escape. We have a couple of little escapades in the woods with the beetle pig and the pine cones, and then we end up at the twins' house. Okay, and we go through some hardships there, and then we finally find Mr. Midnight. basic sequence to get from like the worst moment to the first truly good thing. Okay. Now, when you ask someone to tell a story about what they've been through, first thing we're doing is we're building a narrative. Okay. And it's very natural in that narrative when I ask about the asylum for someone like Fran to tell me, like, this is how bad it was. Like, I was treated really poorly. I wasn't able to eat when I wanted to. The conditions were bad. I made some friends there, but like I was really sad for them. And she'll go into all that stuff. Now, that's important for the context. But where we would do a disservice to Fran, and I think that this is where some people feel like the therapeutic process falls short for them, is it would not be enough to just say, wow, you made it through so many difficult things. You lost your parents, you were trapped in this asylum, but then you found a way to escape. You ended up in this scary well house thing, but then you got Mr. Midnight. And then to just tell Fran that she is strong for having survived those things. And then to try to point out for Fran the aspects that make her very resilient. This would be my analysis of Fran, of why she has these inbuilt strengths. And that can feel nice to hear, and sometimes you do just need to hear that, but there's a better way. We don't want to just try to convince someone who has been through difficult things that they are strong for overcoming them. Why? Because that needs to be a discovered thing, okay? You can't just sort of borrow my interpretation that you're strong. A person needs to feel it, know that it is true. And usually we struggle to accept that because the narrative includes so many things that she did wrong. We come through surviving trauma often with a lot of shame and guilt and a lot of hyperfixation on the things that did not go well. And so it starts to feel like I'm trying to convince her that she's strong when she doesn't feel it yet, which can actually be kind of patronizing. And it also does not acknowledge the cost of her survival, because it sort of just says like, well, but look what you got out of that. And the rest sort of feels immaterial. That's not what I want. That's not what we want. So there's a better way. I want to focus on this right here. That's the first time that Fran actually started to make a difference in her situation. Okay, so we want to zero in on that. The first thing I'm going to do is teach someone how to use scales. Okay, and scales are very simple. It's just asking someone how difficult a situation was when they first had it, and how does that change once you start to do things about it. And so I'm going to ask Fran like what intensity being at the asylum was, and she's going to say it was a 10. Yeah, like really fucking awful. And people aren't going to know right away when the exact moment things became more manageable. I can't just ask, and so when did that number go down, or when did things become more manageable? We often don't really know, especially if we're still learning like how to scale these experiences. You have to be slow and patient, and really it's going to be zooming into very specific things, right? I'm going to ask Fran, so the first time that you woke up in the hospital, what was like the first thing that you did that changed that situation even a little bit? And that's where she's going to start telling me the steps, okay? The steps that we've talked about for Midnight Magic. Here's what she did. We scanned the environment. That's the first thing that we did in the game, is we took a look around at everything that we can interact with. So we scan the environment. We interact with as many things as we can. Basically, we explore and experiment. We collected items. We looked for resources. We then consolidated those resources. And then eventually we'll come to a point where she's going to say, and then I took a bunch of duotine, which opened a lot of doors for me and really helped me get out of the asylum as well. I'm not going to note yet that this is like something undesirable for the process. We're just trying to get a neutral, objective history of how did you get out of the asylum? What were the things that you had to do, okay? One of the things that she did was take duotine. Like, it's bad. We don't like it, but we'll come back to how you work through something like that. We don't just want to leave it as is. But for now, we're just trying to understand what happened. And if you interject and say, yes, but that's bad for you, then you're going to ruin this whole process. So we took a lot of duotine. And we did more of this. We took some inventory of the environment and we did all this stuff. And we did several other things. Okay, we talked to the other kids. You know, when we're in new environments like this, we sort of like backtrack in certain ways. And then kind of at the end of that process, we just sort of like try everything. Sort of clicking on things until we figure out what's what. Okay, job done, right? Like now we just got to give it a name and then we have a competency and an SRR. Not quite. Okay, this part of the process. This is called deconstruction, because what we're deconstructing is when you were at the asylum and it was a 10, as you started to do these things, which some are not the best for you, like taking duotine, what was the result? Okay. And she might say something like, well, then I came down to a 5. I found the situation more manageable. I was able to see more clearly what my options were. And it was still really scary and distressing, but like now I was able to get myself out and I was probably at a 5. This is entirely based on her subjective experience. I'm not saying, oh, that really sounds like a 7. Like, no. This is based on her sense of how these things helped her. Now, sometimes there's going to be an event where they might say, well, it was at a 10 and then it brought me down to a 9. Then there is not enough of a drift from intensity to identify a competency, at least to the point where it's not worth trying to deconstruct it and search for one, because we did not develop a competency in that moment that helped significantly enough to do this. But let's just assume, for the sake of example, that right, we went into the asylum at a 10, it came down to a 5. We're going to deconstruct that, which means we break it out into every single step that we can think of, and some of them are going to be really redundant and small, but you want to capture everything, okay? Then we need to go to a process of consolidation, okay? We have deconstructed the pathway that Fran has taken to measurably reduce her sense of tension and friction, and this is like just her abstraction, 10, 5, 4, whatever, but there is recognizable underlying regulation of both body and spirit and competency happening between that 10 and 5. We're just working with her subjective scaling because that's more personal to her. But we're also trying to consider, okay, and as you did those things, like when she scanned the environment, this gave her more control of her surroundings. Very likely this helped stabilize her nervous system. The more resources that she has, the more things that she consolidates, the more options that she has. This is helping with some of that HPA axis regulation because she is more prepared to anticipate stressors. And so all that is happening. That is why we need to focus on things that have large drift, not like 10 to 9, but let's say 10 to 5, at least 3 points, let's say. So now we need to consolidate, which means we have deconstructed and now need to package it back up. The first thing that we're going to do is choose a name, Midnight Magic. Okay, because it's fun. Now the name is more important than it seems, okay? Because this becomes a shorthand for quick access and recall, both throughout the therapeutic work, but also as someone navigates their own life. That they can call to mind the specific interventions that they used in a crisis that explain the positive drift from, I felt the worst I had ever felt at the beginning of this journey in the asylum, and somehow, as I escaped, things became measurably better. We don't want to have to like recount or relive that story all the time. So like the name is so important for consolidating, for just packaging this up in shorthand. It also tends to increase attachment and meaningfulness to it, which makes it more likely that someone is going to remember and use it. Okay. Now the job is done, right? Deconstructed, consolidated, we've packaged it back up, give it a fun name, and now, good job, Fran, you're so very resilient. No, we're still not done. Now, we need to go through the process of application and reiteration. And like I said, this is like the very condensed version. I'm not going to get too much into this, but we need to start looking at 3 domains: past, current, and future application. Okay, now this is really important. What I'm going to explore with Fran is, now that we've identified this process, can you actually see times in your life where you had done some of these things before going to the asylum, before this crisis? And we're going to learn that, yes, she has. Like, Fran did not sort of suddenly become this ball of curious energy once she got into the asylum. She's always been like this. This is her personality. Like, it's very likely that she already does this just in her life. Most of these things, scanning the environment, exploring, looking for resources, consolidating them, trying everything she can think of. In fact, the only thing that's probably all that different, besides some other environmental things like talking to other kids, was taking duotine. That is why you need to work on consolidating this in the context of the past, because that's going to help Fran see that, well, I kind of already had a lot of this. It started to become essential for my survival in the asylum, but these are not entirely new things. The only outlier is the duotine. If you don't do this, you run the risk of Fran starting to associate midnight magic and this competency that she has with duotine, that's like the primary motivator of this skill set and is responsible for her increased confidence. And it's not. It's not, because we're going to explore times in the past where this has been effective. And we're going to do a similar thing here. Okay, well, tell me about some of those times. Like, how did it help you here when your first, time going to school or meeting new friends? Like, maybe it brought you from a 7 to a 5 there or something. So this continues to build a relationship with this core competency and bring it into a broader context than just the thing she did to survive the asylum. We're then going to work on applying it to current issues. Now that we know it's been in your life and you've had to use it in this most recent tragedy, what are some situations that you're in right now as Fran would be coming, to and from sessions? We'd be saying, are there opportunities to apply midnight magic in life? And she might say, yeah, now that I'm back home with Aunt Grace and my cat, like, I'm struggling to adapt to this. And we would iterate on, does this process still make the same sense outside of the asylum? Like, is there any iterations that we want to make to it? And she will discuss like whether it's effective or not. And then we will also go into the future. Are there things in the future that we can anticipate where this might be useful? So that's a kind of involved process between sessions, okay? What this results in is an entirely different structure to the therapeutic work. It is not any longer someone coming to therapy and they're destabilized and they've got some sort of crisis and they're up here, and then I come in with my expertise and I help them come down here. And then the person feels better and they go back into their life and I've really vented out my frustrations and I learned something. And then they come back and they're up here again. And then we go through that process again. And like, you could convince yourself that you're getting better, because in some ways you are, but at the same time, that's more like patchwork. It doesn't have a long-term self-efficacy to it, because now you become reliant on the therapeutic process as the stabilizer, and it shouldn't be. With this structure, what you end up with instead is Fran comes to a session, and before talking about what sort of crisis she's had this week, she is going to already be saying, here's what I'm going through. This is the crisis of the week, and I already tried midnight magic, and it was effective, or it wasn't, right? She's going to be able to describe whether the process worked or didn't. I have never yet, with this process, seen someone come in and just sort of like blast off with a problem and not already have started to engage with their own competency as we've identified it. And so it builds a lot more forward momentum. We're now working on iterating on this, right? And the person's coming in with the responsibility as well of practicing this and seeing how it gets better or worse based on new contexts. So like, I use that example of putting the sunglasses down, and that is not the whole thing. That would be like one step in what eventually became a competency for that person. Because there was a couple of thoughts of like, well, isn't that just sort of like hiding yourself and avoiding yourself? Well, it's the same thing as like duotine is in here. In isolation, it's not good. In combination, it might not even be essential, but you do have to understand where it came from. And if you want to transform it into something that has a healthier, immediate, and longer term application, then you have to do all this stuff. And as we iterate on that, midnight magic becomes more than just a clever name for a problem-solving skill. It becomes the evidence of her survivability of one of the worst things that's ever happened to her, that continues to result in good outcomes for her as she goes forward in her life. Now, we would have one competency from that, one SRR. I want to do this process with someone for like maybe a dozen more things. Okay, this whole process could take, multiple sessions to find one, but then, it usually goes faster because I get a relationship with the client and we already have the language developed for all of this. But the goal is to have like a dozen of midnight magic-like skills, all with their own names and in different domains. Sometimes these domains are going to be sort of cognitive and practical. That's what midnight magic is. We need skills like this to navigate problem solving and to get through obstacles in our everyday life and the external world. Sometimes we are going to explore competencies that are more body related. So this is going to be all the self-regulation stuff and maybe even some inner psychological work. We're also going to work on relational skills, okay? It's interpersonal skills that you use to interact with other people. And we're going to have a dozen of these across all these different domains. And during this process, you can slot in any other kind of therapy that you're already working on. Like if the cognitive behavioral stuff works for you, then sure, like doing a thought record in the middle of your process is maybe a big help for that. Like maybe you're using Wise Mind from DBT or a breathing exercise, like whatever, they can all go in here. Like this, an SRR is not a therapeutic approach or a modality. It is a structure and a framework for identifying a competency that can work alongside and in tandem with all kinds of other therapies. And so now, as we're going through this process, Fran and I, when we start sessions, are already discussing, I used these 2 or 3 techniques, and these ones worked and these ones didn't, and I'm finding I need to refine them here, and I'm reminding her, well, have you tried using, this one that like you haven't, used in a while and was really effective here? And like we're working on building out for a person a very personalized, very meaningful, and evidence-based from their own life approach to navigating many of life's stressors. Some in their external world, some in their relationships, and some just within themselves. And all of this will have a deep impact on the stabilization of a person as we see ourselves develop and use competencies and are essentially rewarded with that, with things like the great relief of finding Mr. Midnight. There is so much more going on beyond just a identification of strengths and the natural confidence building of using them. Like I said, this is a very condensed version of like everything that's going to happen. It's also quite easy to mess this whole process up if you stop too early. If someone starts to integrate thoughts of shame or guilt, as they discover this process, like this is why it is done with the support of a professional, because you'll notice as I was talking about this process, it's not like I'm giving expert wisdom or insight to someone like Fran as she develops these of why they were effective. What I am there to do is to know the effective outcome of this process, help steer it, keep her on balance, and then work with her on the consolidation process so that this becomes something that really sticks with her and that she has a trusted person to iterate on that with. So there's a lot of self-study that you can do with this. Like I said, if you find that you have a skill or a technique here and you start to apply it in different places, like that's wonderful. That's amazing. Like we all should be doing more of that. And there's a very involved clinical process that underlies that to actually achieving like the real profound skill work that becomes a basis for trauma healing. Because yeah, Midnight Magic is a silly name, but at the same time, it is just one skill among a dozen that we will explore and try out on very small things at first before we start applying them to the big stuff, like how Fran lost her parents. So there is no avoidance of dealing with the trauma here, but there is a lot of prep work before we go into that. I wouldn't ask Fran, when I've just met her, to trust in my expertise and therapeutic insight that she will be safe discussing or working through the deepest trauma of her life before I have, one, built an attunement with her after going through this process and made her feel like she is a very accomplished, competent person with a lot of resources that she can identify and use completely independently of me. By the time we get to the really difficult stuff, there's a lot of trust and a lot of stabilization already occurring, and we can always fall back on what's worked before and continue to iterate from there. So that is how you actually discover a competency. And turning that into a general resistance resource, like how it applies to greater points in life, is like a whole additional thing. All that is to say that finding Mr. Midnight finally has been the moment where all of this comes together and starts to make sense for someone like Fran, that like, okay, I can tangibly affect my life and my environment. And she can do it even despite that environment being terrible. Like there was a couple people who asked like, well, how do you work through stuff when the environment is terrible? Like if you live in an abusive household or something, like, well, consider that everything I just described, Fran developed in an asylum. It was like literally one of the worst and unsafe places that you can be. And yet the endurance of the human spirit and its ability to adapt saved her. Now we want to make sure that after she survives that we actually capture everything that she did and it becomes essential to her forward progress and doesn't just get left behind in the more shameful narrative of, I could have done more. So that's why I love this for Fran. It's a very beautiful moment for her. And for Mr. Midnight, of course. Mr. Midnight's been through his own stuff. Like, he's his own person. I wonder what he thinks about being captured and trapped and all kinds of stuff. Maybe we'll do a Mr. Midnight analysis at some point. Hope we get the opportunity. Now, he says he doesn't know how to get out of here, and that we should ask someone else. The only other person I can think of is the Toad. I did it, Sir Toad. The girls are gone. That's perfect. Now I can leave this place and return to my family. I want to do that too, sir. I finally found my kitty. I just want to go home now and be with Aunt Grace. But how will you get out of here? There's no boat. Presumably, I thought you could help us. I thought you could help us get out of here. I would love to help you, but I'm too tiny. Even though my body is quite malleable, it would be impossible to carry you both to the other side. Let me think about it. Don't leave us yet, please. Okay, can I ride the bicycle? A rusty bicycle in the middle of an island. I don't think it would take me very far. Can I fly away on my witchy broom? A broom to take me up. Up, Fran, the flying witch. I'm saying. Can I combine the broom with the bike? The broom with the frog. Can you... This is the part of Midnight Magic where I rely on just fucking try and combine everything that I have, because I'm kind of out of ideas. Can you do something with the crayon? Can you draw us a bridge? Do you want the matches? Do you want the baking soda? Like, I have no idea why this is going to work, but when all else fails, a part of Midnight Magic is just to try literally everything. I'm not a bakery bun. Take this, Toad, it may help. But you're all slimy and soft, like dough. You're right, it may work. Here goes. Okay. It worked! It really did! I'm so big and I feel gorgeous! You are. Great, let's go. Come, Mr. Midnight. Sure, Fran, I only have one complaint. That giant toad is staring at me. I think he wants to help us. What are you talking about? He wants to help us, that's all. All right. If he tries anything, I'll scratch him. I like that Mr. Midnight is so protective of us. That's okay, but don't try not to hurt him too much while we're sitting on him. The water is deep, and we don't know what kind of creatures are in there. If we fall in the water, we could die, Kitty. Oh, I promise I won't scratch the toad. Let's go. Hey, girl. Before we go, I forgot to give you something. I saw you in this picture, so I thought it was yours. Oh. Oh. What a sweet thing. Give that to us. And this book was with it, too. Leon. Oh, Toad, you found my family photo. Thank you very much. I thought I'd lost it forever. But the book isn't mine. Oh well, take the book as a gift. It's always healthy to read. It has many pictures. Wow, thank you. I like pictures. Well, let's go now. Yes, here we go. Hold on tight. Oh my god, this is getting so exciting. I'm so glad that we have Mr. Midnight with us now. His little paws. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. It looks like we're playing Frogger. Okay, I think I just need to get on. Shit. Okay, let's try again. Yes! Okay. Looks like I have to do this a couple of times. Now. 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 This is easy. This isn't even a puzzle. This is child's play. Oh my gosh. Too fucking easy. How about a real challenge? Wasn't very difficult. Here we are. Jump off me now. Let's go, kitty. Well, now it's time to go home. I hope you find your family soon, Sir Toad. Thank you. You too. Farewell. Goodbye, sir. And thank you for the ride. Fran, what should we do now? Find the way back home, kitty. Do you see the sky? It's dawn, and really soon, all the scary things will disappear. Ugh, I'm so hungry and sleepy. I want to go home now. Me too, kitty. We'll find the way. I'll do my best to help you, my dear. Let's go. So we're back in the woods, but this time we have our kitty. And I will be very curious to see how Fran's process changes now that, like, we have kind of accomplished the goal, or at least one of them. Now it's to get home. Now, as I have discussed all of this, I fully realize that, like, we are not talking to Fran when she's not in therapy with me. She doesn't know that she is using midnight magic, and she also doesn't know that in that process we will be working on trying to not include taking duotine as a part of that process. However, because we have it, and because I have learned from this game that every scene that I'm on has a duotine variant, even despite not really being sure that it's actually going to affect anything, I kind of feel like I should take some, you know, just to see. Mr. Midnight! Why? Where did he go? Oh my god. Oh, that's... Oh no. Mr. Midnight does not go with us. What? Oh. Oh. I guess we still don't know, like, what this is. Is this another world? Does it change our mind in some way? Like, does it change our mind and it just represents something? Like, the fact that Mr. Midnight is not here on the effects of duotine could mean a couple of things. Could mean that as we travel to this other dimension, Mr. Midnight is just not there because he's not on duotine. He's not on that planar realm. Could mean that if duotine is a fracture in Fran's mindscape, that Mr. Midnight, the real cat, is not able to help her there because she is so affected by the duotine. Or if he's really not real at all, like we don't have our cat at all, and we're just sort of wandering around the woods, that what he represents for her in terms of a goal and a companion doesn't exist there. Could mean a lot of things. I just don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Especially after everything I've gone through to get Mr. Midnight. I don't like very much the duotine takes him away from me, but I just can't help but curious about what else is going on here. What is this? Oh dear, a baby skeleton. I guess they didn't make it in time. Good night and sweet dreams. Well, there's a baby and an adult skeleton there, Fran. Maybe I can ask Aunt Grace to teach me how to swim. she sees a lot of skeletons. Oh, I don't like that at all. But the brilliance of the game is that, like, okay, now I have been negatively rewarded for taking duotine. Like, it actually gave me a shock, a very unpleasant shock to my psyche. And yet, I can't help but wonder if I wouldn't be missing something if I didn't take the duotine everywhere I go. Like, why? I would be missing out on all of this. Look, like, what's going on? I'm very curious. Sir, are you the curious insects that get stuck? They're sleeping. Maybe they're not stuck. Well, I hope they have their hair comb. I certainly do too. Wow, what a tree. It has many roots. They look like arms. I would love to have a conversation with a tree someday. What would you ask it, Fran? Yeah, I can't believe I'd be missing out on this if I didn't pop a duotine every once in a while. You know, just to see. It's obviously bad for her and continues to lose its relevance in the Midnight Magic process, which is why I think it's brilliant that the game continues to incentivize you to use it, even though it's kind of distressing and has less and less application so far. Come on, Fran, let's go. I'm waiting for you. Trust me, I am ready to leave. Oh dear, this bridge looks pretty scary. Oh, Fran, come on. We have to go home. There's no time to be afraid now. Yes, but I'm a bit afraid of heights. I can go first, all right? Then you follow me. All right, Kitty. You're so sweet. I'll be right behind you. She's so adorable. Oh. And very chivalrous as well, Mr. Midnight. Walking ahead and protecting dear Fran. You know, Fran can be the brains of the operation and Mr. Midnight the brawn with his claws. Fran, wait. No! Oh my god. If you take my cat. Oh no. Oh my dear. I can't hold on anymore. I don't want to die. Save me, Mr. Midnight. You won't die, my friend. Come on. You can do it. Jump. All right. Here I go. I got you. No! Fran, no! Oh my god. Mr. Midnight is such a real friend. Don't be afraid, Fran. We always fall. And after the pain, we will always rise. Thought it was going to be Mr. Midnight's paw reaching down. Oh dear Aunt Grace, don't ever leave me. Don't cry, my little girl. Your heart is pure, but your mind is tormented. You have to stay and walk your own path. Please, Aunt Grace, why won't you just take me out of here, please? You're going to leave me all alone, like my mother and father did. Sorry, my dear Fran. You will understand soon. Aunt Grace, no, don't go, please, please. Oh, jeez. Fran, it's time for your new medicine. Okay. There's a lot going on there. But, wait now, what happened? Where am I? Fran? Where are you? What the heck? What the heck? What? These are Fran's clothes. Oh. I'm Mr. Midnight! This is clearly a horrific situation, and I'm very concerned about my dear Fran and why she's been vaporized, but I get to be Mr. Midnight. This is amazing. What? Oh my god, and I even have a little paw. and the paw is that's the little, oh, this is so adorable. I mean, it's, like I said, horrific, but that's kind of cute as well. These are Fran's stockings. Fran's shoe. What is this? Ah, what an ugly tree. I scratch you, evil thing. Kitty, Kitty, stop it. What are you talking about? Fran? My darling, is that you? It can't be. What is it, my dear? Of course it's me. Who else would I be? Fran, you are a tree. Don't be silly. Help me get up. Wait just a second. Where are my hands? Why can't I move? I'm telling you, my dear, you've turned into a tree. What? But how? My dear, this is the end of the line. The big monster did this. I know it, Kitty. He won't let us go home. I hope he doesn't come back. He was very scary. He always comes back. I think I remember him from that night, the night Mom and Dad died. Kitty, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to go home. But you are a tree, my friend. A tree! I can't carry you all the way back home. Besides, I'm not sure where we are either. Am I going to die, Kitty? Tell me. Please don't say that, Fran. Don't leave me. But I feel so weak. What is going on here? Humka. Ignimiaula. Kolka. Kolka ig runma. Pascualani. This is ridiculous. Igni jockle. Vanti. It's a carrot. Hey! Don't poke my Fran. Be careful, sir. Why are you attacking me? Could you please tell me where I am, sir? She's so polite. Haula, kolka, haula. Stop it. I'll scratch you. Haula, runma igni. What are they saying? Oh, my kitty, why is this happening to us? Haula. Stop attacking me, please. I mean no harm. Halig, ni vanti. Kitty, help me. Find my purse, please. Maybe I can do something about this. I'll see what I can do, Fran. Dude, I will scratch the fuck out of you. Stop attacking my friend, Carrot. I can't really understand what you're saying. Okay, what about this gentleman? An old vegetable sitting on a boat. A sleepy tree. Good night. Tell your boy to fucking knock it off. What's going on back here? What a strange shape. What is it? I hear sounds coming from it. They speak. Might be a city. Okay. How do I get him to stop? Maybe. Oh, I can go over here. There's the purse. What is this? I've seen similar mechanics. They circulate. Oh, okay. What? Ah. Oh, I'll take the stone. It's shiny. Oh my god, it's so cute. He's got it in his little mouth. Okay, maybe I can put it in there or something. Look at that. Mr. Midnight is a genius all himself. I got the purse only because I'm the best. You're goddamn right you are, Mr. Midnight. Oh my gosh. It's so cute. This picture is pretty. I was a little kitten then. Oh my god. Okay, let's get Fran out of this predicament. Can I... Fran, my darling, I got the purse. That's amazing. You're the best, Mr. Midnight. Doesn't he know it as well? Now show this gentleman who is attacking me my family picture. Maybe he understands what a human is. Well, I really hope he does. Okay. Onam, ni hao ka. Ah, runma, paskin alta. Hey, hey. Where are you taking me, Sir Vegetable? They want to help you, Fran. I can feel it. Uke runma. Epo. Don't be afraid, my friend. Kitty, stop them, please. Don't leave me. I'll be right here with you. Galopma. Galopna. Zoom. What is going on? Chapter 3. Vegetative state. Itmen bal menokastba. Ziar. Niaula. Onum. Irishma. I hope this doesn't last too much longer. Irishma iptem gorska. Amitan ulfrior. Gorska. Ziaro. They're presenting me in a pot, it seems. Welcome, creature, oh thank God. My name is Zyar. Do you speak human? Oh my goodness, yes, finally, words I understand. My good friend, Ride, told me that you showed him an illustration with 4 humans and a cat. I assume you're one of them, the little girl. Please forgive my good friend if he scared you. We have never seen a human looking like a tree before. Let me explain. I don't know, can we explain this? Yes, let me explain it to you. No need to speak, my child. The seed will show me everything. Iptem monakaist ectobrote. Hey! I didn't know I had that, but it's mine. Let me see. You are good. No doubt about that. A seeker of the truth. Very common of the Bow family tree. Ah, your name is Fran. You're the girl with the passion for life. I see great love towards this little creature standing next to you. A cat! Protector of gates. Interesting. Why does everyone know me? It's a great question. Be quiet. I see something else. The seed doesn't hide anything. I see a world nobody should see. Nobody except for one. What do you mean by except for one? You mean the monster? You're not supposed to be here, Fran. That is the only thing I can tell you, my child. Okay. I would like to leave, please. I don't want to be here. I want to go home. We can't let you leave now. It's too dangerous for us. You should never have been aware of our existence. There must be a way. Am I dead or something? Dead? What do you mean by that? You know, when you no longer exist? Besides, it's not normal to be a tree. I must be dead. It's great reasoning, really. Death is nothing more than the absence of love. Once you can't feel love, you die, even if your body still walks. Yeah, I still feel love. For my kitty, I can't be dead. Please help me. Little cat, come closer. Let me see you. What is your name? My name is Mr. Midnight. That is indeed a very pretty name. Do you think Fran should go back home? Yes, I do, sir. Show us the way back home. I implore you. I have a question. Are you the king? You're hilarious. Yes, I am the king. The king of Ithersta. Oh, what an honor, your highness. By the way, I like your leaves. They're pretty. Mr. Midnight knows how to play the field. He's ingratiating this kingly sprout man. Please, will you help me? King, sir. Please help me. Why is this need to go home so great? The seed told me your story. I don't even have legs, man. Of course I want to go home. You don't have much to go back to. Why do people keep saying that to her? It's pissing me off. There are many reasons, sir. But the most important is my aunt. She will protect me. I want to feel like somebody cares about me. I'm confused almost all the time. And I want to be someplace where I feel at home, sir. So that's not the first time Fran said that, I believe. I'm confused almost all the time. Which, that's where I come back to, okay, Midnight Magic is the thing that helped her get out of the asylum. Let's say we've done our deconstruction and consolidation and we've iterated on it and we're sort of comfortable with that as a core competency of Fran's. It is not on its own a universal solution to what's going on with her. Why? Because it's in that domain of sort of cognitive and practical. It's not really helping her understand what's going on with herself. Okay, and this is where after you identify that, first core competency, you would now have a process for uncovering other ones. Fran doesn't have, as far as we can tell, any known resources yet for this sort of self-discovery of like what's really going on with her, why she feels confused all the time. The steps of Midnight Magic are so much about comprehension, taking a scan of your environment, determining your resources, consolidating them, figuring out how to clear obstacles in practical ways. Knowing yourself inwardly can be a lot more abstract. And so we would need to work on competencies that help with Fran's interoception, her awareness of both physiological and psychological signals that account for her distress and confusion. It's very important for Fran to understand things. That's why Midnight Magic is so essential for her. But we haven't explored yet what understanding herself is. Now, again, we will come to a point in the process where, like, we talk about this and we discuss Fran's limitations, and hopefully you can see that having done the work on something like Midnight Magic, if you find that competency and you've already started this process, that like going into that subject, if Fran starts coming in and saying, you know, I'm feeling okay with how I solve problems in my life, but I'm really confused all the time about myself. Now we might start to expand on either known skills or explore entirely new ones in that direction. And that's why you go in pursuit of like potentially dozens of these things. And along the way, they naturally allow us to learn how to describe and work on the things that are going on. Like, as Fran uses Midnight Magic to navigate, you know, her life, she's going to be able to say things as we guide her therapeutically to statements like, when I feel stuck somewhere or in a part of a problem, I need to take a look at my resources. She doesn't have that language yet for inner stuff. Why? Because the signals are less obvious. It's very easy to tell, like, I'm stuck. I can't get through this door. It's harder to tell, why am I confused all the time? Why do I have brain fog? Why do I have chronic fatigue? These are many questions that we may have about ourselves as well. Well, then we need to start doing education on all the stuff we've talked about, like the HPA axis and the nervous system, so that when we develop the language of a competency to work on the domain of body and mind, and we've started to work with scales, right? You know, we can say something like, scale of 1 to 10, how confused do you feel, you know, let's say today? And she might say, I'm kind of at an 8. I feel really confused. I'm feeling overwhelmed and whatever. One of the very likely reasons Fran is confused, beyond just look where she is and it's kind of confusing, but just taking the more practical, realistic approach, like, why would she feel brain fog all the time? Why do we get brain fog? Well, one of the reasons, not the only, but one of them could be that the HPA axis, right, we talked about, is the relationship between the hypothalamus, the pituitary glands, and the adrenal glands, and how they produce and regulate cortisol and stress throughout the body. The impact of prolonged chronic stress, meaning the HPA axis is on overdrive, is that the brain is constantly producing cortisol. And with chronic stress, you will see actual physiological damages and changes to the hypothalamus, which is like kind of at the center of lots of other functioning for your cognitive capacity and emotional capacity and so many things. Chronic stress can literally shrink the hypothalamus in actual size, which results in damaged nerves, fewer neural connections, so difficulty with memory and recall, and like this just sense of mental fatigue and, well, being confused all the time. Like, this could very well be part of what's happening with someone like Fran. As you get really deep into that process, like, we're going to start looking for competencies that help with that, okay? They might start kind of small and silly, like Midnight Magic, which is just like puzzle solving stuff, really. But we will scale up to the difficulty of, now can we develop competencies that actually target neurological restoration and physical and emotional cohesion? Like, so everything I've talked about so far has just been like very preliminary stuff at the start of the therapy process, and for very simple things. You don't just want to jump into like sort of trauma and big stuff like that before you've really established a process and a language and a manageability through smaller things before you work up to bigger stuff like this. I just want to go home. Please help me. There are things I cannot do, but I will help you. I will lead you to the door that will take you home, but it's up to you to walk through it. Really? Thank you so much. And where is this door, sir? We'll talk about that later. First things first, you must be able to talk and walk on this land. Yes, sir. That would be really great. I'm afraid I won't be able to bring you your human body back. Only the great wizard can do that. But we'll talk more about him after the procedure. At some point, when they're done with this dialogue, we'll talk about what the fuck is going on here and like why I think of what we're seeing. But I kind of want to see where this leads first and what Fran thinks about it. Procedure. You must first understand our language. But how will I ever understand your language? Eat this fruit. Now. It just went straight from his mouth to hers. Your ears and tongue will be able to understand, but not your eyes. That means you won't be able to read. Don't worry about that. I can always ask. Excuse me. Do you understand what I'm saying, human lady? Yes, I do. And you sound so kind. This is incredible. Do you understand, my kitty? I didn't, Your Highness. I demand one fruit for myself. Let's not leave Mr. Midnight behind here. You don't need the fruit, Mr. Midnight. Our land is based on fragrances and sound. You'll see everything as your own world very soon. No doubt about it. What? Does he mean, like, it'll stop looking like this? Or just that cats, they're not really visual creatures. Like, they detect more on those things. It always amazes me, like, just how important that is. I have my 2 cats, and when I take one of them to the vet and leave the other one at home, when they're back at home, Ninja, my gray cat, acts like she's never seen Miarin, my white cat, in her life, even if she's only been gone for 15 minutes. Like, she's hissing at her, smacking her, really avoidant. Like, you saw this cat 15 minutes ago, but she smells differently. So it becomes hostile. And then they get over it after they smell each other for a little bit. But I always found that interesting. Now I have learned to just take them both together. You'll do fine, kitty. And, sir, do you know why I became a tree? Yes, but I don't think I'm the right one to give you the answers. Now, it's time for the procedure. Are you afraid of heights? A little, yes. I get dizzy. Why? Take her upstairs, immediately. Where are you taking me? What are you going to do to me? What is going on? Where is this place? What is happening? That's, well, I shouldn't judge. That's a very tall gentleman. To get some arms and legs. Everything will be fine. I'll be waiting for you, Fran. I love you. What? What is going on? What is going on? What? Good day. My name is Palontras, and I'm your doctor today. Humbly at your service. Are you the emergency case? Wow, amazing. What a huge, beautiful, fluffy thing. Excuse me? Oh, I'm sorry. It's just that I've never seen anything like you before. I'm still trying to understand that all of this is real. My name is Fran. I'm a human girl. The king sent me here to get some arms and legs so I can go home. Oh, a human. I think we can get you a pair of arms and legs, but we'll have to travel a little bit further in order to fix that. Are you ready to enter the paws of the beast? What beast? Me. I'm the beast. Let's go. Here we are. Where? What is going on? Wow, this place is so beautiful and peaceful. I wish I could stay here forever. So I have some thoughts on, well, not what's going on, but on Fran specifically, which is that this place does seem peaceful. And so far, these creatures have been quite kind to us, if a little bit strange. Which what matters to me right now is, like, does Fran feel safe here? Does she feel better now than she did when she was in one of those other terrible places? And I'm willing to bet that she does. Thank you. This is my home. This is where I was born. The spirit of the great Valokas created it. It has the purest water in the whole universe. Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. Great Valokas. Haven't you heard about the 5 realities. He's the king of the first reality. A long time ago, he was at war with the darkness, and one day he fell. He fell so badly. His heart was broken, and he was all alone. But he came to Ithersta, and his blood made this water pink. That is why it's so pure. It's a very long story. Wow, that sounds grand. I mean, I didn't know about other realities. And how is it that you're here? What brought you to Ithersta? My kitty and I were on our way back home. I was so happy to see him and hug him again. But then we fell. The big monster that follows me did this. He broke the bridge. He wants me dead. Who would like to see you dead? It sounds terrible. I prefer not to talk about this. But, Sir Doctor, do you know why I became a tree? Yes. Sometimes our wishes are so strong that they become true. You did this in order to keep yourself alive. Think about it this way. Your human body was destroyed, but you wanted to keep being Fran. You wanted to keep your life. So you took on this empty shell to maintain all your precious memories. This is actually the first time I've seen a human using a tree as a chrysalis. But it's dangerous to have you here. It makes our land vulnerable. I did this to myself. Wow, but Palantras, sir, how? I didn't know I was doing anything. You really didn't know what you were doing? I see. Well, when you traveled to Ithersta, you opened a door between your reality and ours. And with this door open, unexpected creatures can also enter our reality. And if that happens, the balance will be tainted. And there is only one who wishes to poison the second reality. The monster, the terrible black. Oh, oh, Palantros. I don't think we've seen anything else, like, be this emotional. Besides ourselves and Mr. Midnight. Oh, I feel for him, big furry guy. I can't see this happening again, I just can't. Don't be sad, Doctor. I'm very sorry for what I did. I didn't mean to. Oh, little girl. You're so nice. And you don't have anything to be sorry for. I think you're very special. But let's concentrate on your arms and legs, all right? Finally, someone recognizes that Fran's a very special individual. Yes, Doctor. Oh, and gosh, look how trusting she is of the Doctor. When he's not just treating her like a piece of shit, but, like, connecting with her, actually explaining what's going on, and, like, building some natural attunement with her. It's an unsolvable mystery why things at the asylum weren't working so well. Soldier of the sun, spirit of the water, give Fran her arms and legs. Oh, what do you feel, Fran from Ithersta? Wow, I feel like a beautiful tree. I have leaves. I'm glad you like it. I told you I would fix it. This water is magical. It can fix anything. Anything? Do you think it could fix my mommy and daddy? What do you mean, fix them? What's wrong with them? Nothing, Doctor. Thank you very much for helping me. You're the best doctor I've ever had, and you're fluffy and beautiful. I had another doctor before. His name was Dr. Deern, but he was an evil old man. An old man. I bet he wasn't that bad. Maybe he was just following the rules. Let's go now. I'll leave you at the station. Whoa! So I'm back here. Here we are again. Shows I are the king. What a nice Itherstanese you've become. Thank you again, Doctor. You'll have to meet my kitty someday. That would be lovely. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Okay. So first coming back to when Fran fell, and there was a scene of her, what looked like, it looks like her waking up in her asylum bed, and Aunt Grace was there, almost as if she was visiting, And Fran was like, "Can you take me home?" And Aunt Grace was like, "No, you have to stay here because your mind is tormented." And then she cried a river of blood, and Dr. Deern arose from that river and gave her duotine, and she was consumed by red thorns. We wake up here in this strange, fantastical place that's significantly more kind, inviting, and peaceful than everywhere else we've been. And so I guess you could go in different directions with this. I don't know if the game is going to give something definitive, but yeah, you could say that, well, maybe Fran is still in the asylum and this is sort of her dissociation fantasy. Her body was destroyed potentially by taking lots of duotine, or maybe she did escape the asylum, but then she hurt herself and was taken back. You could go in that direction. You could also go in the direction that that is the typical nightmare that we have after we actually do overcome something difficult and relive it. Similar to like she had at the beginning of the game when we were in the therapy office and she was reliving the death of her parents. Like, that was also not a literal telling of what was happening. And maybe she really is in this other reality and everything we've seen is real. I have to be honest, I am kind of less interested in those discussions on is what we're seeing real or not, and definitively, is it all in her mind or is it just representations or whatever. I'm kind of less interested in that. As you can probably tell by my commentary so far, I'm interested in Fran as a character and how her life experience, regardless of where it has taken her, through places fantastical and darkly real, is shaping her as a person, and what is she doing to overcome those things? Regardless of our third-person perspective, where we can sort of look in and say, this is real and this isn't, based on our interpretation, Fran is living this reality right now. The skills that she develops and the experiences she has will have real effects on her, whether we end up staying here or not. The reason I treat it that way is because imagine we are working with Fran through the survival of her trauma after all of this, and she says, at some point I fell off a very high ledge into another reality, and I had to overcome all these challenges in this world where I became a tree. Could I respond to her and say, none of that was real, and we need you to sort of realize that that was your mind breaking apart, and none of the stuff you experienced there was real? And could we go down that route? Yes. I'm going to ruin my relationship with her if I do that and prevent any real healing from happening, though, even if it's objectively true. Because how Fran survives whatever she's about to go through is a part of this. We are going to do real things that have real, tangible effects on our life experience as a result of being here. It's why you don't make judgments as you're breaking down the process of how someone survived something. That if one of the steps was I invented a reality where I was a tree and I, fucking whatever. Does resorting to that for every future problem make sense as a way to adapt? No. But the fact is, it is what happened. And we can recognize that and also hold in our mind that taking duotine and maybe dissociating from reality are not things we want to carry forward. But I absolutely don't want to embed shamefulness or this idea that she's like dysfunctional in the midst of that. If this is all in her mind, we're much more likely to arrive at a acceptance of that if we treat it like this is what she really experienced. Here are the things that she overcame as a result of that experience. And as you discover these other competencies, you grow away from the dependence on something that you resorted to after an extreme crisis when you didn't have any pre-existing competencies to rely on. If our mind is broken here, this is what has emerged. Let's respect that and explore some other ways to survive the next thing. Because what I can see clearly right now is that this is the first time that Fran has actually been fucking happy and felt safe anywhere in this game so far. What would I be doing to her to tell her that's where she was at her most broken? I don't know about you, but I would never say something like that to her. So it's complicated. Like, I make no suggestion that like this is a simple process, especially with extreme trauma. That's also why you start small with something like Midnight Magic or any of these other little examples that I've talked about. Like, you have to start small because for the really big stuff, we need to have already done a lot of work on making this person feel comfortable and confident with themselves and trusting of the process, that as we go into more difficult things, they are not going to harm us. Because if the result is we feel worse as we try to heal from something, then what is the fucking point? I don't think that there is one, if that's the result. So here we find ourselves. I don't know if it's real or not. All I know is that Fran is happy, and we've got our cat back, and everyone seems to take a shining to him, even King Zyar here. You fluffy kitty. Ah, do you like that? Here I am. Fran, my dear, you've got leaves on your head. Oh, pretty. Oh, let me see you. What a great Thirstonese you've become. Thank you, King Sir. The doctor is incredible. He made magic with the water. But he was sad. He told me many things, but I didn't quite understand. Don't worry. Palantros will be fine. I know the reasons. We have some problems to solve, but that's nothing you should worry about. Let's talk about how you can get back home, right? Yes, please. You said something about a great wizard. Yes, the great wizard is the only one who can bring your human body back, and he has the stones to open the door that will lead you home. Where is the wizard? What stones? This land is full of things I don't understand. You haven't been outside this castle, and you already want to know everything. That's the passion I was talking about. Have patience, Fran. The great wizard lives upon the great Mount Cottram, but we haven't seen him for a while now. Find him, and everything will be just fine. Why haven't you tried to find the great wizard yourself? Well, we don't need to. It's very logical. You see, we don't need a wizard to perform magic or prepare potions. We can do that ourselves. So what's the point of the wizard then? The wizard's most important task is to protect the stones that open the door. I see. So the stones are like keys. And where is this mountain you mentioned? You'll have to ask around. Follow the signs. I have to go now, but I'll be back in time to help you with the door. Have a great thirsty day, and good luck finding the great wizard. Did you see that huge fluffy creature, kitty? That's Palantras. He fixed me. Yes, it's certainly very fluffy. Oh, I forgot. Here's your purse. You don't happen to have my duotine, though, do you? Oh, thank you, kitty. Did you? No way. Oh, I hate that. Like I said, Fran is not actually doing the work that I'm talking about here. Like, I think she does see duotine as part of Midnight Magic and pretty essential to her moving through the world, unfortunately. Did you see my bills anywhere? I don't think so. Maybe they're on the other side of the lake, next to your clothes. Well, we have other things to do anyways. We have to find the wizard. Yes, the king said something about a mountain too. Yes, Mount Cottram. The great wizard lives there. Let's go. Okay. Well, this has been quite an interesting turn of events. There's a lot going on in Fran Bow's world and mind at the moment. And certainly not a lot of easy ways to analyze it. I think it really does challenge our perspectives and biases about, like, how do you judge what is good for her and what is not for her? Hopefully you can see that the process that I'm talking about is taking a different direction to answering that question. which is less of a top-down approach of saying, wow, Fran, you went through all these difficult things, shortcutting to, and you're so strong for that. I think that this is really doing her a disservice and not showing her how to discover that she has those strengths for herself by establishing and developing competencies, or of taking the more pathologic approach and saying, wow, your mind is really fucked up. Look at all these ways that it is broken and destroying your grip on reality. Instead, being able to see that, like, this is maybe an extreme adaptation to what she's going through. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's all fucking real. Like I said, I don't really care as much about that. But can we recognize it as a thing that Fran did have to do to survive? And potentially there's many steps beyond this where we return to a normal life and we never revisited Thirsta in our mind or for real. But the experiences we had here meant something anyways, as I'm sure they will. Like I said, I have found this to be a very healing process, and one that shows people a path to working on themselves that is not just based on my expert analysis. In fact, it's more about building expertise from the person themselves. And for someone like Fran, specifically with the pretty intense trauma history, it's one of the most important things that you can have is a sense of faith in yourself. That's not something that she can just borrow from me. All right, friends. I think that's where we're going to leave it today. As always, thank you for watching and enjoying this series. Next time, we will explore the world of Thirsta and presumably talk to some more trees, just as Fran wanted. And this time with the companionship of Mr. Midnight. Until then, be good to yourselves, and I will see you next time.